Hi, I would like to talk about spirituality today a little bit because in Find Your Secret K life coaching, spirituality is quite an important part. What is our understanding of spirituality, and how is it different from spirituality generally understood in the world today? Is the subjects I will go into a little bit. In Find Your Secret Key, our understanding of spirituality is quite different from how it is generally understood in the world today. First of all, in our understanding of spirituality, there is no methods, nothing to be attained as a process. You you do a process like certain methods or techniques, and then at the end you attain happiness. For us, this doesn't mean much. No technique in the world can give one happiness. It's impossible. If there has been such a technique, after thousands of years human beings came to this world, probably they would finalize this technique and give it as a prescription to all human beings who are suffering from unhappiness. So there is no such a technique. It doesn't exist, and it will never exist, because happiness, real happiness, this sense of joy, is really a, a dynamic state. It is not a static state. It is not something which will be achieved by a formula. That is what technique means. The techniques of meditation, which are offered to people, or any other technique to make people happy, is a static formula which is given as a prescription so people can apply it, and at the end they will achieve something: peace, happiness, whatever. This doesn't work. This will never work. It has never worked in the past of human history, and it will never work in the future, because it has no meaning. Because happiness is in the present moment. Living in this present moment fully is the only path to happiness and peace. So, living in the present moment, one doesn't need any technique. There is no technique which will teach you how to live in the present moment. You just live in the present moment by complete attention and awareness. So, this attention, can it be applied by a technique or a formula? Personally, I don't think so. This attention just comes naturally, or awareness, it comes naturally. Of course, one must go deep into these subjects first, so that one prepares the ground, one prepares the house for this attention and awareness to come into being naturally, but not by a formula. So what is important is really preparing the house. As I sometimes give example of happiness like the breeze outside, and prepare your house, prepare your room, open the window, and then the breeze will come. But we have no control over the breeze. It comes, which is happiness, unexpectedly, unknowingly, and then it leaves. So what we are doing generally is, once we touch that thing, joy or happiness, then we are trying to hold on to it. It's like trying to capture the breeze. It's impossible. We cannot. So we must rather be indifferent to its comings and goings. the happiness and joy. But the house must be ready. And what do we mean by preparing the house? This is where we go into spirituality. In the sense, a kind of purification process. Purification, an inward purification. So, this is important. In our understanding of spirituality, there is no techniques, right? But a process of purification, inward purification, understanding oneself. This purification can only come through understanding oneself. Why? Very simple. Let's say I'm jealous. I have anger or hatred. How can there be a purification process so that I will be free from these qualities? Because as long as these qualities exist, I cannot be spiritual. If I am ambitious, angry, I have hatred, jealousy, there is no spirituality. So, spirituality is the beginning of awareness of all these qualities, observation of these qualities in daily relationship. This is important. So, also in our understanding of spirituality, there is no isolation from society. Not going into the mountains, like some monks suggest. On the contrary, we think here in Find Your Secret Key, one must go into life, jump into life, go into relationship more and more, invite relationship, and whatever the relationship brings. Relationship might bring certain quality of tension, some problems, conflicts, but through those we can understand ourselves. Understanding and knowing ourselves is true spirituality. The moment we begin this process, naturally, it's like the waves. The waves will be stronger and stronger. The waves of awareness, spirituality, happiness, when we walk on this path, will come like the breeze. This process of observation, understanding oneself, is basically opening the window more and more. That is what we are doing. So, this is very important to understand. What is important at the end of the day is happiness, right? And the true meaning to life. There is nothing more important than this in life. And everybody practically is seeking this, consciously or unconsciously. Even the ambitious people who want to have a great power, money, even them, their basic instinct is somehow seeking happiness, but they don't see they are on the wrong path. They are unconsciously seeking happiness like every human being, but they think happiness is on that path. One can make money. We need money, of course, all of us. For food, clothes, shelter, basic needs, we need money. But thinking or accepting money and what money brings, which is success, power, whatever, is the path to happiness, is wrong. For instance, one can do something one likes, a business, whatever, and one can make good money, one can even be rich. There is nothing wrong. But if that becomes the only purpose, which is in a way worshipping money and what money brings, then that path is totally different from the path of happiness. This is the difference. So there is nothing wrong with making money. So you like something, you do and you make money, that's it. But if money becomes the most important thing, then we are moving away from happiness, which means we are closing the window very firmly. The house is not prepared. So, This is one part of preparing the house. What else? Healthy diet is important. Of course, first comes the health of the psyche. When the psyche is healthy, when you have peace, then the physical body will be healthy and you will eat healthy food as well. So, but these in a way all go together. Healthy living. What we mean? Health exercise. The body needs exercise. This body, human body, is made to move a little bit. But nowadays, we live in such a world, many people, they are just in front of the computers or television. They don't even walk. But the basic thing, basic human exercise is walking. So as much as possible, we should walk. It is a natural yoga. Another thing we can suggest here strongly is swimming. This is also a kind of natural yoga. This prepares the body, the house, in a subtle way, without even us knowing, prepares the house, opens the window. These things cannot be done consciously, in the sense knowing. It is not I am preparing the house in order to receive the breeze. No, I have seen the importance of it and I am doing it. I am not expecting anything. No expectation. But I'm doing it. I'm preparing the house and all of a sudden, without knowing, expecting, it comes. It's like an unexpected guest, we can say, knocking on the door. And so this is important. So this is our understanding of spirituality. So, in our understanding of spirituality, there is no strange so-called mystical experiences, visions. Personally, I think these are all illusions. Illusions of the mind, which is craving to be spiritual. But what spirituality? It is basically escaping from its own suffering into a so-called spirituality in which it can forget its suffering through those experiences, visions, whatever. So it desires, the mind desires to see something beyond this dimension. And if the mind desires it too much, then it will create the illusion, naturally. This is what is happening. So, our understanding of spirituality is very simple. Is a human being trying to understand himself or herself in observation, in daily relationship, and therefore in that understanding there is intelligence. When I watch myself, understand myself, I become intelligent. Very simple. Why? Let's say I have an image about myself as the intelligent one. And if somebody comes along and says you're stupid, then what happens? I react, my heart is broken, I suffer. Right? So, but if I watch myself in this process of self-knowing, as we described, then I see my image, the image I made about myself as the intelligent one. I see that image. If I look at it carefully in daily relationship, I understand it. And when I so clearly see it, then I see the stupidity of it and I end that image. What happens then? I don't have an image of myself as the intelligent one. Then I become intelligent. Very simple. If I don't have any image of myself, of any kind, then I become more intelligent. So, in this process of watching, understanding myself, intelligence naturally comes. That watching itself is bringing in this intelligence. We don't need to do anything. Nothing. So, what is happening then in this type of spirituality that we understand in Find Your Secret Key is basically when one begins to walk on this path, one naturally becomes intelligent more and more, every day. So, what is happening? A human being is becoming more intelligent, wise. And this intelligence will function in all areas of life. So this is spirituality. This spirituality must have an effect in my daily life, in business, when I go to the pool, when I go for walking, when I talk to people, meet people, it has an effect. It is dealing with my life, intelligent. And also I don't suffer because I don't have an image. They can say you are a stupid idiot. Yes, I watch the image, I see the reactions, and I'm free. And I don't suffer. So they can say whatever they want. It's only I'll have the pain or suffering only if I have an image about myself. If I don't have any image about myself, then they can say whatever. Of course, we listen to others, critics, that's very important for self-development. And look at ourselves. This is also self-knowledge, critical awareness of oneself. Listen to the critics, watch objectively, see the truth or the falseness of those critics, and if they are true, then change. Don't stick to the old me. Change. See the falseness, move, dynamic, move, always, changing, learning is changing all the time, moving. So this is very important. Dynamic learning, watching is dynamic, always new, because what we watch is ourselves, is very dynamic, moving, changing. So we must also be very swift in our watchfulness, right? We mustn't get stuck anywhere. This is important. So various methods in these things. Method don't mean anything. Meditation methods and techniques or methods to watch myself mean nothing. There is no method to watch myself. I watch, I see. I watch my jealousy in my relationship. I don't need a method or technique to watch my jealousy. I watch, become aware. So through this process, one becomes spiritual awareness. The strength of it is going to get more and more, stronger and stronger. So this is a process. It's quite important to understand. So in that sense, this is the real difference of our understanding of spirituality. Then one begins to walk on this path. One understands. And one becomes every day, every single day, because one is becoming intelligent and all those, one moves away from conflicts, which makes one unhappy by understanding. I understand all these conflicts in my relationship about myself, and when I understand, I'm free naturally. And so all this understanding is opening the window more and more. It's bringing in the breeze naturally. So happiness is not something that I intentionally desire or invite. It is not like that. It is not like I do this and this. Certain activities, of course, give you a certain sense of relaxation, which is also necessary. Like you need space, going for hiking in nature, swimming. These are all preparing the house. But happiness, you prepare the house, that's it. There is nothing else you can do. You cannot say, I will be happy today, at this moment. It's meaningless. Does it have any meaning to say I will be happy now? It doesn't have. But if I am unhappy, I stay with the unhappiness, be aware, look. And as we said, prepare the house. So these are important things. What happens then in this spirituality? Because many people might say, so what? There is no spiritual experiences. or visions of something extraordinary, enlightening, all those kind of stuff. Why? Why do we look for something extraordinary? Why can we not be simply happy and joyful? Isn't it enough? You see, I think we are also ambitious in that direction, the spiritual direction. We've had enough of the worldly things, and then we want some extraordinary experiences in the spiritual area. It's still the ego, the self, now came into the so-called spiritual area and looking for some pleasurable of the world, and then I had enough of them and they don't give me happiness. I turned to so-called spirituality to look for pleasurable things in spiritual world. So basically it's the same thing, same process going on, the egotistic activity, looking for personal satisfaction, personal pleasure. This is what spiritual experience. I've had a blissful experience. Bliss or happiness, is it an experience of the me? Is it the me experiencing happiness, or at that moment of real joy there is no me, but there is only happiness? Only after a minute or a second the ego or the self comes in and says, I was so happy, I want more of it. And the moment it takes over, saying I want more of it or I want it back again, it's finished. Again we are closing the window. So this is a process which demands immense watchfulness every second, very careful. It's like you live in a very small room with the most dangerous snake of the world. This is what we mean by watchfulness. The activities of the self, the ego, it's very cunning, very subtle, very swift in its movements. But it's fun to watch that. And in that watchfulness, there is a state of being awake, a kind of awakeness of the mind comes into being. This all go together with attention and awareness. So this is then our understanding of spirituality in Find Your Secret Key. This is it. Nothing more. No experiences, no strange mystical kind of illusions. Basically a human being understanding oneself. Through that understanding comes intelligence, joy, happiness and love. So this is the final point. Without love there is no spirituality. Love is the essence of all spirituality. But what we are trying to do today in the world, everybody is walking on certain spiritual path. But I don't think love is at the center of these things. On the contrary, they are being given certain methods or this or that for their personal happiness, to achieve personal happiness. And as I explained just 5 minutes ago, this seeking of happiness on the personal level is still the activity of the ego going on in the so-called spiritual area, and therefore as long as there is the egotistic activity going on, there is no love, because love can only come into being when the activities of the ego or the self comes to an end. Because can love end any sense of egotistic activity exist together. Can I love when there is any sense of activity, egotistic activity going on? Is that love? If I say I love, but if I am concerned about myself in that love, so-called love, it can be very subtle concerns, benefits, then it is not love. So, for love to come into being, the activities of the ego must first of all slow down and then end. And this can only take place by watchfulness, understanding. No method will end the ego. Who is applying the method? It's still the ego applying a method to end itself. It's meaningless. The ego says, okay, I have this prescription, I'll take this, I'll apply this, and I will achieve enlightenment. This is what is taking place. Very simple. But then it's still the ego taking this new toy, the prescription of enlightenment, and playing with it. The ego is still there. As long as it is there, I cannot walk on the path of love. It is not possible. So, in this watchfulness, as we said, what happens then? We see the activities of the ego. And naturally, that watchfulness itself will slow down, will weaken the activities and the strength of the ego. And there is perhaps a moment in this watchfulness in which the ego, the self, totally ends. Momentarily, whatever. It ends. And when that ends, then perhaps love can take place. But these two cannot go together. The ego, the me, the self, and love cannot go together. So, then what happened? After all this, a human being in this process of understanding oneself, watchfulness, becoming more intelligent and happy, joyful, because we eliminate conflict by understanding, and then love begins to come. Out of this also peace. They are not separate. Wisdom, joy, love, happiness, they are all together. They are not separate. So, while walking on this path of understanding oneself, self-knowledge, this is what is happening to a human being. Human being is growing inwardly, better psychological health, more peace, and naturally, then the body becomes very healthy, strong, vital. So what is important is the problem in the mind. Start with that, not starting with the body, but the mind. And what happened? Then one is becoming a total human being. What does it mean to be a total human being? It's very simple. Healthy in the mind, psychologically, which means spiritually, full of love. Love the earth, love people, friends, family. And at the same time, do things in the physical world. In our understanding of spirituality is not separate from life. There is no such a thing as my spiritual life and my personal daily life. They go together. They are not separate. These two are together. So, then a human being is becoming a whole. But if there is no spirituality growing inside, then it's a mechanical machine. It's a robot. Very high technology robot. This body is the highest technology product. But it's a robot. If if you don't really have this quality of true spirituality and love, not the love people talk about these days, the politicians and other people, but real love. Without that, it's a robot. It's a mechanical robot. Very simple. So, what is happening is then I am becoming a human being through this process, not a robot anymore. Because without that real spirituality, it's just a mechanical robot. Without love, this body is a mechanical machine, nothing else. Right? This is true, very simple. It's a mechanical machine. What is our difference from, let's say, the highest technology of robots of 100 or 1,000 years later? They can make perfect machines, robots, which look like us. But can they love? They can't. Human being can love. This is the main difference. Very important. So this is spirituality. Nothing extraordinary. Just becoming a being, a creature, with love in your heart. So this is very important. And this love is not separate from intelligence. It is not a kind of love where people talk about, yes, this is unconditional love, but unconditional love doesn't mean stupidity, for sure. If somebody is there to exploit me, to use me for her or his personal benefits, what is the action of love? I won't hate. Then love has no hate, no anger, nothing but the intelligence of love will see this thing and move away with no anger and hatred, nothing, and no image either. So next time I see that person, if I have no image, no hatred, no anger, then I can perceive directly whether she or he changed or not, and they might change. If they change, okay, let's become friends, intimate friends. If they don't change, okay, again, we move. I go my way, you go my way. This is the intelligence of love. Love is not stupidity. It is not they come and do all the bad things to you, to your family, and I say, I love you unconditionally. It has no meaning. It is not that. Also, the action of love is free from time, from past. So it's unconditioned. That's another subject. So you don't really know what you are going to do if somebody approaches you, let's say, in a violent way. You don't know what the action of love will be. It's unpredictable. It's not known. It's free from past. It is not thought functioning anymore. It is not a conditioned thing. When it is not conditioned, you don't know what you are going to do. If they approach you very violently, you have your family and children, you don't know. I don't know personally. But most probably you will protect yourself. This is the action of love. It's intelligence. You protect your children. You don't say, my love is unconditional. It's a different thing. Right? So this is the difference. This is very important. I think this is a point where generally people cannot understand. If I have unconditional love, then I will lose the game. No. That love has its own intelligence. And it is not a game. Basically, it's like a flower giving off its scent. Anybody who's passing by, they can come, they can feel, they can smell. But the flower is not directing this scent towards anybody or any object. It just gives it. Right? If anybody is interested, they come. So I think unconditional love is very similar. Real love. There is no object. I love you or I love another. No, there is only love. Without any division of the subject and the object. It is not me or I, the ego, loving the other, or loving the universe, or loving the earth. No. There is love when by the ending of the ego, And then there is no division as the me and the earth, or as the me and my girlfriend. So then in love there is no division as the object and subject. So this is also important to understand. This is our understanding of spirituality. In Find Your Secret Key, spirituality is quite important here in Find Your Secret Key. And basically this is the beginnings. And there are of course other details like living in the present moment is extraordinarily important. Spirituality also means this. By this watchfulness, by this quality of awareness, one begins to move away from time, the future, past. And therefore one begins to totally live in this present moment. This is very important also. Being what it means to live in the present moment. Entering into the present moment very consciously. Right? This is related with slowing down time and then ending time. What is time? These are very important questions. There is the physical time, the physical movement, and there is psychological time. These are two different things, which we will go into next time probably. We don't know. As we said, these talks also are very spontaneous. Whenever we feel or we get inspired by any subject, now we can make videos and also talk about these things. So for today I think it's good enough. It's already 36 minutes 16 seconds. So hope this video means something to you, and if you have any opinions, whatever you want to say, you can just leave a message, and see you next time. Goodbye.